Hello, welcome to the World News on the Papyrus TV Africa. First, the headlines. Ouattara secures fourth 10 in Côte d'Ivoire. Burkina Faso launches national strategy in new drive for tech independence and media growth. Category 5 Hurricane Melissa batters Jamaica. Now the news in detail. President Alassane Ouattara was declared the winner of the fourth term after the 25th October 2025 elections, securing nearly 90% of valid ballots, according to officials' result. The turnout hovered around 50%, and multiple prominent opposition figures were barred from running. Developments that have reignited debate about the health of Ivorian democracy. Ouattara, now aged 83, framed his candidacy in terms of continuity and stability, emphasizing the economic growth and reconstruction his administration has overseen since 2011. His allies point to the infrastructure and cocoa sector's expansion as proof of performance. Yet many young Ivorians disagree. Voices on the ground in Abidjan decries joblessness, rising inequality, poverty rate 37.5%, and the political system they feel excluded them. One young man, Slump White, put it bluntly: "You have to be very lucky or a bit of a magician to be able to live comfortably." Critics warn that the exclusion of opposition heavyweights, including former President Gbagbo and banker turned candidate Tijani Thiam, undermined the electoral contest. They argued the constitutional reset in 2016, which cleared the way for this term, amounted to institutional engineering of Ouattara's part. The scale of his result, 89.77% in a democratic election with a restricted field, has raised eyeballs about the competitive nature of the process. Economically, the result carries implications for the wider region. Côte d'Ivoire dominates global cocoa supply with 40% plus and has made significant gold output gains under Ouattara's watch. But analysts say investors will now watch whether political certainty translates into inclusive growth or whether youth disenchantment begins to overshadow the stability narrative. With West Africa facing increased pressure from jihadist spillover, the election outcome also puts Abidjan at the heart of regional stability efforts and raises questions whether internal legitimacy will now match external strategy. For Ivorians, the fourth term marks not just continuity, but a potential turning point. With Ouattara promising this would be his last, the baton of power may soon pass, but to whom and how remains unclear. Society stressors, youth alienation, and governance concern now looms larger than the victory itself. The government of Burkina Faso has launched a landmark national artificial intelligence strategy, setting the stage for West Africa's largest push to integrate advanced technology into economic planning, security operations, and education. The initiative, unveiled on 28 October 2025, underscores the junta-led government's commitment to digital transformation as part of its broader vision to reduce foreign dependence and modernize state capacity. Minister of Digital Transition, Post and Telecommunications, Dr. Aminaz Zerbo Sabani, announced that the National AI Framework will serve as a roadmap for applying artificial intelligence in all priority sectors, from agriculture and energy to health, defense, and governance. She described the move as a sovereign act of modernization, noting that Burkina Faso aims to become a regional hub for innovation, drawing on domestic tech talent and strategic partnership with African university and private startups. According to official documents released at the launch, the strategy is built on 4 pillars: data governance and security, innovative infrastructure, human capacity development, and ethical regulation. Key provisions include establishing a national data center, supporting AI-driven early warning system for national security, and developing machine learning model for precision agriculture to enhance crop yields amid worsening climate pressures. Regional analysis sees the announcement as both symbolic and strategic. Following years of security and economic instability, the move towards AI represents a pivot, signaling the government's intent to frame digital transformation as an instrument of sovereignty. The policy also positioned Burkina Faso alongside Senegal, Kenya, and Ghana, which have already rolled out similar frameworks, but challenges remain: infrastructure deficit, limited internet penetration, and unstable power supply could slow implementation unless paired with long-term investment. Observers from African Union Commission on Science and Technology praised the development, calling it a model for locally adopted AI governance. Meanwhile, civil society groups urged transparency in data use, warning that military and surveillance applications could risk privacy rights if oversight is weak. Still, the broader sentiment across the country is one of caution, optimism, a belief that in a world defined by algorithms, Burkina Faso's leaps into artificial intelligence could be the most forward-looking decision of its decade. The Caribbean island of Jamaica braced for and partially received the landfall of Hurricane Melissa, a historically intense Category 5 storm whose sustained wind of up to 185 mph and slow movement threatens life and infrastructure, altering destruction. On Monday and Tuesday, 27-28 October 2025, authority issues evacuation orders, activated hundreds of shelter and warned residents that many communities will not survive. The lead up to the strike was marked by rapid intensification over unusually warm Caribbean water. Meteorologists track Melissa's rise from Category 4 to Category 5 in just hours, with forecast warming of rainfall total between 25 to 40 inches, 63 to 100 cm, and storm surge of up to 13 feet in valuable coastal parishes. Prime Minister Andrew Holness emphasized the storm's severity. There is no infrastructure in the region that can withstand a Category 5. Evacuation efforts were complicated by resident reluctance to leave homes due to fears of looming and shelter safety. At the time of landfall, authority reported only a few hundred individuals taking refuge despite 800 plus shelters being prepared. The storm hit southwestern Jamaica near New Hope, and as it moved north, damage reports began to surface: collapsed roof, downed power lines, landslide in mountainous parishes, and major flooding. Beyond Jamaica, the storm was forecast to move on to southeastern Cuba, the Bahamas, and beyond, extending the potential impact across the Caribbean. Experts flagged the slow forward speed of the storm as one of the most dangerous elements, increasing rainfall dwell time and flood risk. In economic terms, the event strengthens key sectors such as tourism, agriculture, especially sugar and banana export region, and infrastructure repair budgets in the region. For Jamaica and its neighbors, the implications are stark. Immediate humanitarian relief will be needed to scale up quickly, but the longer-term recovery will hinge on resilient planning, climate adaptation, and restoring critical services. With Melissa described by some meteorologists as amongst the most powerful Atlantic landfall ever recorded, the disaster will test regional disaster response capacity like never before.